organization talking to some medical people, and I just had a question about something he said.
Okay. Would you like to get with somebody and ask the question?
Oh no, I'd just like to read you. I'd just like to run by you this really short thing that he said. I just wanted to see if what you thought about it. He was from this thing called HLC. He said, when one of Jehovah's Witnesses decides to accept a blood transfusion, we view that as someone who has a spiritual weakness. We try to encourage them and support them. There's no stigma attached to them, and they aren't shunned. Is that true?
Yeah, that's their decision.
And there's no stigma, and they're not shunned?
No.
Oh, okay. Because it was confusing to me because I was reading in this other book, like for elders called Elder's Manual, that they announce the person as disassociated if they determine that he is unrepentant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but in a case like that,
mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the man in the video didn't say anything about that second part. He just says that if they decide, there's no stigma and they're not shunned. Because he was talking to outsiders.
Mm-hmm. I have to watch that information.
Yeah.
I don't want to just, off the top of my head to say this and that, because there could be a lot more information that was brought out. So I would need to watch it, and then I would be able to comment on it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, he didn't want to talk about the shunning at all. And I personally know some people who were shunned for that.
No.
They don't do that anymore?
You made mention about disfellowshipping, and disfellowshipping is only after a person unrepentantly decides he doesn't want to change his course. You can imagine a person that's sick. And you say, look, if you're sick, then you can't come into the house because I don't want everybody else to be sick. Does that make sense?
No, I'm not talking about the issue of shunning. I'm talking about that the Elder's Manual does teach shunning, which means you announce their disassociation that results in being shunned. If they decide to take a blood transfusion. And by the incomplete statement, this man said, there's no stigma and they aren't shunned. If they decide to accept a blood transfusion, that was very misleading.
I'm a little out of my, I'd have to watch the information and I'd have to read that before I can make any kind of comment on it.
Yeah.
Right now I'm just kind of,
Okay. The channel was called Berman Institute, BERMAN Institute. That's the name of their channel, this hospital channel or whatever. And the video was called Ethics for Lunch. And then it said something about Jehovah's Witnesses. And they were discussing the blood doctrine mostly.
Okay. Are you, do you live here in Chillicothe?
No. Oh. Anyway, I just wanted to know what your thought about that was. If you think, if that's what all he said, was that really completely truthful? Or he probably thought they didn't deserve to know, because I saw one guy on a video saying lying is misleading someone who deserves to know. So I thought that was, I've never heard a definition of lying like that. I know they have that in Islam also.
Yeah, did you figure that Satan told Eve a lie, and that lie permeated and got us into the situation we're in now. So that's one reason why God hates lying, because it deceives and it creates a problem.
And I've never heard a Christian, let alone like your leaders, a governing body or whoever it was talking, define lying as only misleading someone who deserves to know. That means you can mislead people who don't deserve to know. That's an idea in Islam too, called taqiyya.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard a definition of lying like that? Like that if I think you don't deserve to know, then I can mislead you and it wouldn't be lying?
No, I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, that was on the broadcast. I can give you the reference for that if you want. It kind of goes by really
Well,
quickly. I've heard it described before as theocratic warfare strategy. They actually had a term like that. I don't know if they still talk about that. But anyway, do you want me to send you the link to it, or do you think you could find this video from the Berman Institute on YouTube?
on YouTube,
Yeah,
um,
it
I
was
think I
kind.
can find that on YouTube.
Yeah, it was kind of like a
It's called
Zoom meeting setup. Berman Institute, and it was called. The video was called "Ethics for Lunch," and then says something Jehovah's Witnesses. I think it was about 6 months ago
okay.
posted, so it's pretty interesting.
See, I'm gonna get on YouTube now, and
Uh
you
huh.
said Berman.
Yeah, Berman Institute.
Berman.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I was right on there. Yeah, it's called Ethics for Lunch: Jehovah's Witness Faith Perspectives of Blood Transfusion.
I'm a little slow.
Yeah, it's been up for a while. It probably you have to scroll through it and stuff like that. I don't know if you just typed that in if it would come up. Berman Institute Ethics for Lunch, maybe on a
And that
search.
weekend was Berman.
Yeah. Hmm.
Let me try something else. You said it was. What else did you say? Something for lunch.
They were doing it on their lunch hour. Ethics for Lunch is the name of the
How do you
video.
spell that?
ETA,
Ethics.
yeah, ETHICS. I can just text it to your number if you want.
Let's see. Ethics for lunch. Okay, ethics for lunch with prayer, hospitals. I've got this information. Oh, ethics for lunch, Jehovah's Witnesses, perspective of blood.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, I would have to. It's lengthy. I'll go home and watch it. You can call this number again,
Okay.
and we can have a. I'll be able to discuss this a little bit more informed after I consider.
Yeah. It's mostly that part I was interested in. So I know it is kind of long. And again, I'm comparing it to what they said in the book called Shepherd the Flock of God, which is different than what he said. So
Oh,
do
okay.
you have access to that book?
Yes, I do.
Oh, good. Okay, you're an elder.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay. Well, yeah, check it out. See if you think he's telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth there. So, hey, thanks
So,
thanks for talking.
how do you have access to the book?
Shepherd the Flock of God? It's online.
Yeah.
And it was also
Oh, I did.
it was also put out as evidence in the Australia Royal Commission on Child Sexual Abuse.
Oh,
And,
okay.
elders leak it to the internet because they're PMOs, like that's called physically in, mentally out.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of PMOs. They usually leak that manual, elders' letters, coming new light that they know about because they're trying to get out, but their whole family is in, or the organization, or it's related to their job, so it takes a long time to figure out how to do that because it's so
Hmm.
difficult, because the shunning and everything.
Well, I'll consider this information,
Great.
and we'll go from there.
Okay. Thanks so much for talking to me.
You're very welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
God bless.